Voyeur Bus was this thing where these girls would just roll around in a bus, and I believe they were topless because it was like legal or something. And I forgot at this point what they were promoting. But we took over the Voyeur Bus, the Opie and Anthony show, and Lewis Black was on there, and Jim Norton, and it was a spectacle. And we're broadcasting live from the bus. Me and Anthony are back in the studio, and we took over. I'm no joke. We took over Manhattan for the afternoon. I mean, that was the first time we took over Manhattan for the afternoon. But we would announce like, all right, now it's going down Fifth Avenue, and people would run out of their jobs. We had a massive audience. Like, just to give you a little perspective, if yesterday was, I mean, I really got to like push it. Maybe 7-8 years ago, I would have had a real tough time live streaming in front of Trump Tower because I would have got bothered so much. And you know, time takes away fame from everybody. So we would announce the bus is going down Fifth Avenue. The Voyeur Bus, like they had giant windows, like the whole top was just glass. Think like a tour bus, and they got stripper poles in there and music and a light show. And we would announce it's going down Fifth Avenue. Everyone would run out of their offices to check out the Voyeur Bus. It was crazy. We were blocking traffic, and for whatever reason, they made I don't even know how they did it because there were barricades all over the place. The next thing you know, the Voyeur Bus was on a road all by themselves. I don't know how they did it, but they did. And the road was shut down. You know how hard it is to shut down a road in Manhattan? They only do it for like presidents, basically. And it's just tooling down this road by itself. People are on the sidewalks because they're waiting for something else, and that would be Clinton's motorcade. And they're just pretty much clueless. Girls are topless. People are taking pictures. They're on the road by themselves. Next thing you know, they get, I don't know, a couple blocks up the road, and all hell breaks loose. The whole NYPD, it seemed like, stopped the bus. And it was guys. This is the scary thing about the NYPD. You got the regular officers. And then you start seeing NYPD guys that look like they're from a Star Wars movie. They got shit on them. You're like, wow, that guy is important. And a whole bunch of those guys start piling out of vans and cars, and they were not having it because we made them look bad by accident, which sucks because we love the NYPD, or certainly back in the day. No, I love them to this day, but you know what I mean, for the story. And they arrested, I mean, everybody. And we didn't get arrested because we were back at the station. And we sat in our office for hours waiting for the guys to get out of jail. And Jim was in jail, and Lewis Black and a few of the other guys, the girls. And at this point, Lewis Black was a big fucking deal on Comedy Central and a really good friend of ours. He was a guy that never blew us off. He was a guy that, even though he was really, really famous, he was still doing whatever he could for our show. I'll never forget that about Lewis. And he finally comes through the door into our office, and I immediately, like, I just threw myself at his feet. Like, I am so sorry. He was a big deal. He still is a big deal, but he was on Comedy Central and getting some really good airtime with his rants. And I'm like, I am so sorry. I'm like just pleading, please forgive me, you know, that type of thing. And he looks at me, and I'll never forget. He goes, "Are you kidding me? This is great for my career." And he played off that for the next few years in the comedy clubs and whatnot. And he actually was not mad, even though he spent man, I don't know how many hours they spent. I feel like they might even have spent the night. I'm trying to remember. I think there might have been a point that we had to give up on them and go home for a little bit. I'm trying to remember the whole thing, but they weren't there just for a couple hours. Oh, I think what it was, I think it was a Friday. Okay, it's coming back to me. I think we were really worried that they would have to spend the whole weekend because it was a Friday. Yes, and they took him to the Tombs, which is legendary here in New York City. And then I think they got out really, really late Friday night, and they didn't have to spend the weekend. That I think that's how the story goes. And Lewis came through that office, and I'm begging for forgiveness, and he was like, "You kidding me? This is awesome."